To some degree, we're all a little obsessed and insecure about our faces. I mean, for me, it's hard not to pause to check out my reflection in the mirror when I'm brushing my teeth and to wish for a better jawline or set of cheekbones. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same. Today, I'll be telling you an untold story about our faces and how a maladaptive habit you may be doing right now is deforming it and worsening your overall health. And be sure to watch until the end of the video, where I'll share a simple DIY solution that is currently being adopted by more and more dentists and doctors to improve their clients' facial structures and well-being. This story that I'm about to tell was originally told by New York Times bestselling author and journalist James Nestor in his profound book, Breathe: The New Science of a Lost Art. I'll put a link to it in the description, feel free to check it out. In 1830, a man named George Catlin left his job as a lawyer in Philly to pursue his dream of documenting the lives of the Native American tribes of the Great Plains. He met and lived with 50 tribes including the Lakota Sioux, Pawnee, Omaha, Cheyenne, and the Blackfeet. These tribes varied region by region with different customs, traditions, and diets. Some ate only buffalo flesh and corn, while others lived on venison and water. The tribes looked different too, with varying hair colors and skin tones. And yet, Catlin marveled at the fact that all 50 tribes seemed to share the same superhuman health. Having never seen a dentist or doctor, they had teeth that were perfectly straight, as regular as the keys of a piano, according to Catlin. Even more, nobody seemed to get sick, and deformities and other chronic health problems appeared rare or non-existent. The tribes attributed their vigorous health to a medicine what Catlin called the great secret of life. The secret was breathing through the nose. The Native Americans explained to Catlin that breath inhaled through the nose kept the body strong, made the face beautiful, and prevented disease. On the other hand, breath inhaled through the mouth sapped the body of strength, deformed the face, and caused stress and disease. Mothers in all these tribes followed the same practices, carefully closing the baby's lips with their fingers after each feeding. At night, they'd stand over sleeping infants and gently pinch mouths shut if they opened. All these methods trained children to breathe through their nose all day, every day, and for the rest of their lives. Catlin described how adult tribal members would even resist smiling with an open mouth, fearing some noxious air might get in. Unlike the Great Plains Native Americans, over half of us are habitual mouth breathers. Take a moment. Are you mouth or nose breathing as you're watching this video? The Great Plains peoples weren't capping. Mouth breathing is in fact terrible for our health. To prove it, the author James Nestor and a friend plugged their noses for 10 days to test what happened to their bodies. Over the course of the experiment, their stress-related hormones and blood pressure spiked, suggesting that their bodies were under physical and mental duress. And most importantly, mouth breathing also seriously fucks up our facial structure. Let's take a look at one of the examples from Breathe. This is Gigi, a mouth-breathing orthodontics patient from Philadelphia. Her teeth jut from the top of her gums in all directions. She has dark circles under her eyes and a downward sloping face. This is what it looks like if you are a mouth breather. Here's what's happening. Inhaling through the mouth decreases pressure on the soft tissues in the back of the mouth, making them loose and flex inward, creating less overall space and making breathing even more difficult. Thus, your jaw pushes downward to protect the airway. This creates a downward growth pattern in the face and begets even more mouth breathing. Inhaling through the nose has the opposite effect. It turns a flat face into a more forward-facing one. It forces air against all those flabby tissues at the back of the throat, making the airways wider and breathing easier. After a while, these tissues and muscles get toned to stay in this opened position, pushing your jaw up and your facial bones forward. Nasal breathing begets even more nasal breathing. After 2 years of nasal breathing, Gigi's face was transformed. As you can see, there are no more dark circles, none of that sallow skin or drooping lids. Her teeth are straight and her face is broad and glowing. And the same thing happened with other patients at that orthodontics clinic, both adults and children. Their slack-jawed and narrow faces morph back into a more natural configuration. Nasal breathing also has many benefits for our internal health. The sinuses in our nose release a huge boost of nitric oxide, a molecule that plays an essential role in increasing circulation and delivering oxygen into our cells. Immune function, weight, mood, and even sexual function can all be heavily influenced by the amount of nitric oxide in the body. Another crucial benefit to note, especially if you're an athlete watching this video, is that nasal breathing is far more efficient than mouth breathing. Due to a set of bones called the terminates, the nose is able to heat, clean, slow, and pressurize air so that the lungs can extract more oxygen with every breath. I just posted another video on TikTok diving deeper into the performance benefits of nasal breathing. So if you're an endurance athlete looking to gain that competitive edge, or simply looking to make your 2022 fitness goals more attainable, consider checking it out in the description. Unlike the Great Plains Indians, we don't have our mothers standing over us while we sleep, pinching our mouths shut. So how did patients like Gigi learn to keep their mouths shut? The answer is sleep tape. Sleep tape is tape over the mouth while you sleep, forcing you to breathe out of your nose. It is gaining traction amongst orthodontists and dentists to cure our downward sloping faces, as well as other maladies such as bad breath, crooked teeth, and even ADHD. James Nestor's tried and true solution that I use myself is a postage stamp sized piece of tape at the center of the lips. It allows a little space on the sides of the mouth to cough or talk. He recommends 3M Nextcare Durapore Durable Cloth Tape, which I'll put a link to this specific tape in the description. I've only been using sleep tape for 2 months, and I can already feel my overbite, which I've had all of my life, receding as my jaw is coming forward. All the hours spent nasal breathing at night has also subconsciously trained me to during the day, and I've definitely been less stressed and more concentrated as I go about my day. It is important to remember that although sleeping with sleep tape may be uncomfortable at first, the more you nasal breathe, the more your airways open up and the easier it gets. As we're at the end of the video, I'm sure many of you are wondering, if nasal breathing is so healthy, why are so little of us doing it in the first place? The human body evolved to be able to breathe through 2 channels because it increases our chances of survival. Should the nose get obstructed, the mouth becomes a backup ventilation system. We are mouth breathing because something is obstructing our nose. Look out for another video where I'll talk more about this nasal obstruction and what we can do to remove it. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing or leaving a like, and feel free to check out the description, comments, and these suggested videos for more information. I'll see y'all next time.